Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are live. I am Adam. This is Open Late, and you can see my reflection in these figures. Can you see it? I can see my own hands reflected in these figures. Anyways, I was a couple minutes late, and I apologize for that. I was just tuned in to my good buddy Brick Something's show. They're building a really cool Lego set, the Lord of the Rings. Man, now I can't remember what the set's called, but it's basically the Elven Village. But anyway, um, it was hard to pull myself away from that. If you haven't checked out Brick Something show or channel before, open a new tab. I won't do anything visually yet. Open a new tab, go and subscribe to his channel. I'll wait. You've got, I'll give you 15 seconds. Anyways, full disclosure, these wonderful figures from the Mythic Legions All-Stars 5+ wave are duplicates. I've already opened one of each of these, and I intend to open more of them. These are my two favorites from the wave. I opened a whole bunch more. Whoa! I opened a whole bunch more on another video on the weekend. If you tuned into that, great. If you missed that, I'm glad you're here now to check these out, because as I said, these are easily my two favorite figures from the wave. Scott Baker, I feel cheated. Scott, I think you were there. You shouldn't feel cheated. You saw me unbox all the other figures as well. Although, to be fair, and my good buddy Jeremy loves when Canadians say "to be fair," I didn't unbox this guy on the video because I got too excited and I unboxed it. I unboxed it before the video. I couldn't wait. I just couldn't wait. It was a premature unboxing for my unboxing video. But now I'm unboxing. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. I've given you guys enough time. Hopefully you've gone and subscribed to Brick Something's channel. Great channel. I love to have that guy on. I love chatting toys with him. He and I have a lot in common as far as collecting, as far as the IPs that we love, as far as, what motivates us to pick, certain figures over others and leave others behind. I can't collect all the things. I tell myself that constantly. I am currently repeating that to myself about every 20 minutes in regards to Cosmic Legions right now. But anyways, I'm going to open two figures today. I'm going to open who I like to refer to as Duban, although I have heard him referred to as Duban, and it probably sounds a little bit better. It sounds a little bit more sort of Mythic Legions-y, as well as the Xylernian Guard, the sort of one of the elite troops in the army of Xylona's flock. Whoever they are, regardless, they are absolutely fantastic figures. So if you're somebody that buys figures to fit into a headcanon, that works. If you like, the lore of Mythic Legions, then these guys are great figures to have as well. But anyway, without any further ado, I'm just very quickly going to jump into the chat and see who's hanging out. Mike Hext is hanging out. Ted Darkclaw is here. Good to see you, Ted. Cheers to you too. Huzzah. Samrock, you're normally the first person to comment, so I don't know if you were late or you just didn't feel like commenting, but yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you jumped in. Scott, I know you feel cheated. I understand. The feeling will pass. The feeling will pass. You'll be fine. Ted says, I don't know how anyone cannot immediately unbox their Mythic Legions. A discipline I lack. Well, so honestly, Ted, for me, you know, as I say at the end of all these videos, it's always more fun to open your toys with friends. I do unbox the odd item here or there, not on video, but I genuinely like to sort of share my enthusiasm. I like to share this sort of raw emotion of opening them, you know, for the first time, and you know, I just it's also a way to sort of document it. It's motivation for me too, because I always have sort of a stack of stuff to open, so it sort of gets me to open things. I got 3 young kids, so I got to schedule time to open things. Scott Baker said Jeremy's video earlier just kicked my cosmic addiction into high gear. I missed it. Those 3 little monsters that live in my house and demand that I pay attention to them pulled me away. So I haven't had a chance to watch it. I will definitely be watching it as soon as I'm done this. Actually, that's sort of my that's my routine on Wednesdays. Is I very often do an unboxing, and then I usually watch The Mandalorian for a second time with my wife, because she's not willing to wait until midnight to stay up and watch it with me the first time. So we watch it again on Wednesday evenings, and then I usually watch Jeremy do his thing after that. Mike Zarzuela, Mike, you'll have to let me know. Zarzuela, is that correct? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Is it Mike or Mick or Meek or something else? I don't know. Feel free to message me and correct me, or comment, either way. Says, can't wait to get my hands on both of these. This doesn't help. Yep. I just gave you like 8 options. You said yep. I know there's a lag, so. Samrock, I put the live on, but I'm also building a Lego set as I watched, so I forgot to comment. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. I can relate to that. What set are you building, Sam? I'm very curious. Oh, okay. Mick. Okay. From now on, I'm just gonna say Mick. I'm not even gonna try your last name. That's best I can do. Anyways, 2 figures. We've got Duban and the Xylernian Guard. Which one do you guys want me to open first? As I said, I've already opened both, and I absolutely love both of them. I actually spent a couple hours last night doing some pop and swaps, some lazy boy customs, as they are referred to in Mythic Legions, collecting sort of circles. And the like the parts in these are fantastic. The figures themselves are fantastic. You know, the accessories that you get. Duban comes with a whole bunch of hands. The shield that the Xylernian Guard comes with is absolutely like, well, we'll get there. I mean, we'll get there when we get there, but it's maybe my favorite accessory in the whole of Mythic Legions. Samrock, I'm building the Mandalorian and 1 Starfighter. Nice. Very nice. That is a set that I would love to pick up, but I genuinely have no space left for it. But I might have to make room for it, because I love the N1 Naboo Starfighter, and that Mandalorian version looks really, really nice. I may just, you know what? I may just pull the PDF build instructions and just build it, because I'm sure I've got those pieces. I don't think there's any pieces that are wildly unique to that set. But we'll see. Scott Baker's Xylernian Guard is my favorite in the wave. Let's do the Xylernian Guard then, because Scott says that's his favorite. So first up, we have the package. So there he is in package, looking a little under the weather. No, just kidding. It's a what is it? A Whisperling elf? Is that what they're called? Yeah, Whisperling elf. There's his bio on the side there. I will draw attention to one thing on here. These soldiers are comprised of the sub-races of elves found throughout Xylona's flock. Amongst their ranks, there can be found wood elves, Whisperlings, Ghost Elves, and other members of this Fey race. So we have a Whisperling, we have a Wood Elf. The Ghost Elf is something that we haven't seen, we haven't heard much about, apart from right there in the bio. I can't wait to find out what a Ghost Elf is. Elves are possibly my favorite race in Mythos. I love the Jaguelians. I love the Fuzzmonks, but you know, Thistlethorn is a Fuzzmonk, and we've got one. So it's, you know, it's hard to love a race. You know, it's hard to say that my favorite race is Fuzzmonks. There's only one, so I don't know. Anyway, we get the card back here. It's the same card back as we got with the Alithia Wave figures, apart from the call-outs on the back. So it shows the All-Stars 5+ wave on there. And then on the other side, of course, we have the faction sigil. And in this case, it is Xylona's Flock, of course, because it is the Xylernian Guard who guards Xylernia. Anyways, collector friendly packaging. We just flip these little tabs over the cardboard, and the cardboard slides right off. The Four Horsemen have done a very lovely thing, in my opinion, and put the accessories in reusable bags. This is the first wave that we got that. The exception being Lady Averona, but I'm not opening her tonight, so it's somewhat irrelevant. Anyway, there we are. Let me just get this out of the way. There he is with the outer bubble off, looking great. They've got these twist ties that hold the figures in. In this case, there are two. I've said this before when I've unboxed Mythic Legions, but I always take the time to unwind these, and I leave them in the package for any package that I'm keeping. And so far, that's been literally every package for every Mythic Legions figure that I've gotten. I don't know why. I have no intention of selling them ever, because I love these figures. I absolutely adore them. And the ones that I don't absolutely adore, I sometimes don't even open. Like once in a while, buy a figure, and when it shows up, it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be, or you know, I bought it because there's different reasons why I've sort of picked up a couple random figures. Vetus was an example of that. I don't love the Mercurians, but I didn't have a Mercurian before that, and so I wanted to buy a Mercurian just to check it out, knowing full well that I probably wouldn't love it. And he showed up, and I didn't love it. So I went back in the package, and I have since, I think I sold it. I can't remember to whom or when, but these Xylernian guards, they're in my collection now, and I doubt they ever won't be. Is that the proper way to say that? I don't know. Figure first or accessories first? What do you guys want to see? As I said, the shield is, I think, easily my favorite accessory across the Mythic Legions line. Hey, what's going on, Master Russell Toy Hunter? Eldor, how you doing, my friend? Let's do accessories first, because that's usually how I do it. It's weird doing the accessories first with the Xylernian Guard, because the accessories are so fantastic. And Scott Baker says accessories. So Scott Baker said Xylernian Guard. Scott Baker says accessories. So we'll just do what we're told tonight. Oh, where to begin? Where to begin? So we get the Elven Longbow. This is in a really nice. Is this bronze or brass? I don't know. Brass? I think this is brass. bronze? No, this is bronze. I'm going to say bronze. It's a really, really nice color. We, of course, get the matching quiver. And I could not for the life of me remember that word when I did my unboxing on the weekend. The quiver has some gold highlights that are really, really... The Xylona's flock, in my opinion, has the best color palette of any faction in Mythic Legions. The bronze, the gold, the greens, the it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful color palette. Then we get an arrow that matches the ones in the quiver there. So the fletching is green, and it matches the armor perfectly, which you're not going to be able to see very well. But anyway, then we get a belt strap loop stored for one weapon on there. I love these. You know, I know that some people just sort of, this is, you know, it's thrown in with a box and people sort of don't make a big deal about it, but these are so practical. These are so useful, and they're so much fun, and you can get sort of tons of weapon storage on figures using these. I'm glad that I've got lots of extras. I'm definitely going to be putting these on some AWOC figures once those arrive, hopefully sooner rather than later. We get the long elven sword, which is beautifully done in this case. It's silver blade with gold, as well as a couple sort of emerald green hits there and there, and it is the same on both sides. Very, very nice piece. Pauldrons, again, in that sort of dark gunmetal with the bronze and gold highlights. Look really, really nice. It's just such a nice looking figure, which we'll get to. And then, of course, as I said, the highlight for me of the entire wave, really. And this one's a little bit messy. I just realized there's a little bit of black up here. I'll have to see if I can clean that off or paint it up or whatever. This one's not quite as clean as the first one that I opened, but regardless, it still looks stunning. I'll just call it battle damage. I'm okay with that. So this is sort of a 3D sculpted version of the sigil for the faction, as is depicted on the box here. As you can see, the sigil designed by Nate Barch is a fairly simple kind of 2D design, but then the 3D version of it is I have no words. Like, it's so well done. The sculpting is fantastic. The detail work, you know, even sort of in the background, you know, behind the deer head, the Xylona's head there. Xylona being the sort of demigod kind of. I don't read the lore. You'll understand. But this is a brand new shield. The shape is new. Still has the same sort of connecting handle, so that's going to plug right on the back so that your figure can hold it, and away you go. Now, if I take this off and very gently pop this out, and it really doesn't take much, but I don't want to wreck it, so the two pieces can separate. So you get this new shield shape, and this again is done in sort of a similar colorway, a little bit of a gunmetal, the bronze and the gold highlight on there. Really, really nice. This on its own looks very, very nice. But you can take this piece, which has the little peg on the back, and attach the handle on there, and you can hold it as a shield just as it is, like that, if you want to, or you could swap this onto a different shield. Going forward, they're going to be doing a bunch of shields that use this modular setup. There are a couple shields coming in the Necronominus Wave Night Builder Pack that allows you to sort of mix and match and sort of swap these parts. There's a shield that looks like it matches Duban, and I think I may give I may do a custom figure in sort of Duban's outfit that's not Duban, that might get a custom shield. That's my plan going forward. We'll see. Stay tuned for that. As I said in my video on Saturday night, I may do a video coming up soon where I just do, where I may have a couple people on and we'll just kind of hang out and do some Lazy Boy customs, some pop and swaps. You know, we'll have a couple drinks, we'll just shoot the shit and just talk about Mythic Legions and you know, how much fun they are to just you know, customize and swap and so on. So that's the sort of main accessories for the Xylernian guard. The other thing that we get is a spare head. So this head is, of course, the Wood Elf head. And the Wood Elf out of the package comes with the sort of fully slotted face mask, and the face mask goes up and down. This face mask, when closed, sits sort of flush with the bottom of the helmet. You can sort of see there that the edge of the helmet just sort of follows the edge of the mask. Now onto the figure, we get the Whisperling Elf head, and the Whisperling Elf head comes with a slightly different mask. So this mask has the sort of cross on the side and then the holes on the other side. Now I will pop this off to show you because it's easier to show you this when it's not on the figure. Let me see if I can get this guy to stand up. I'll pop the neck peg out because that makes it easier too to sort of see what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. So fully closed. This one comes, so the edge of the helmet comes down and then it kind of drops, and then that's where the mask is. So slightly different take on the mask there. A little bit longer on the one with the cross. Now, if you prefer one of the faces over the other and the masks don't match up sort of the way that you want them to, all you got to do is pop it off. So that's there. It again, you know, modular. You could just pop them off. So there we go. Pop that one off. Slide that on, and they just peg right back in. So now you've got the Whisperling Elf with the fully slotted mask, or conversely, the Wood Elf with the cross style mask. Now, one thing I will mention is that on this mask, the eyes line up in such a way that, and it's not going to come through on camera because it's there's too much shadow, but looking through the slot on the mask, you can see the eyes of the elf. On this one, however, you can't. You have to sort of slide it up ever so slightly to be able to see the actual eyes. Not a big deal, more of a nitpick. I don't really care one way or the other. But anyway, there you are. On to the figure itself. Once I get his head back on. But as you can see, super easy to get sort of parts on and off. The head's always easier than some of the other ones, but the whole thing is pretty easy to do. The pop and swap, you know, a little bit of heat goes a long way, and you can interchange all the pieces on any body that's sort of a 1.0. Now we get two of these sort of loin pieces, skirting pieces. So we get a soft goods fabric piece as well as a plastic piece. I lean much more heavily to the soft goods version. What I did with the other one as well, so sort of out of the box, it comes just pretty flat, pretty straight, not a lot of character to it. I'm going to do what I did with the other one. I basically am just going to follow the curve of the molded skirt piece here, just to add a little bit more character, a little bit more, you know, texture almost to that one. And then I'm just going to pop this one off because it looks fine. It's great. But as I said, I prefer the soft goods. Color palette on this is fantastic. We get this really nice forest green for the torso and for the skirting. We get that same sort of kind of a gunmetal type of color for most of the armor. It has highlights of the bronze and then little gold details in a lot of spots. So you get gold on the elbow, you get sort of gold on the neck, gold on there's little hits of gold everywhere. And then we get this really nice light brown sort of tan leather for the gloves, for the boots, and then on the back of the boots as well, and on the back of the wrist gauntlets as well. So just a really, really nice figure. And then I think somebody in the comments, Mick, it might have been you. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Mick said, so it didn't come with the new belt. It does come with the new belt. So there is one of the new belts there. So that's the one that has sort of 2 loops on it. So you can put a dagger as well as a sword, or in this guy's case, you can clip the quiver and then sort of still run the sword. You know, more is more when it comes to carrying the accessories. So I'm happy to see this belt on here. The new belts are a lot of fun. I love figures that can carry more stuff, and so when they've added sort of details where there's more loops, there's sort of more stuff, it makes the figures feel a little more customizable. You can kind of personalize them a little bit more. Add a dagger here or there. Add another sword if you want. You can add whatever you want. You can do what you want. These are your toys. You can do what you want. We also get the sort of the bronze chainmail on the arms there, as well as the bronze chainmail on sort of the hip area. Just a really, really good figure. The color palette really works for me. I've said this before and I'll say it again, like the black and red figures that seem to be, omnipresent are great. There's nothing wrong with them. They just don't suit me. They're just not my jam. This is my jam right here. This figure looks absolutely stunning, absolutely fantastic. I can't recommend this figure enough. If you like doing customs too, if you want to do a Doctor Doom, just get this. You're basically 90% of the way there. Let me just get this guy to stand up and I will jump into the comments, and then we will jump into unboxing Duban, and then we'll see where we're at. We can chat for a little bit. I will get some accessories in these guys' hands and so on and so forth. We'll see what's going on. Master Versal says, yes, Hudson from the Gargoyles series. So that figure will be my tribute for him. I missed something there for sure. Scott says the Autumn faction. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that definitely has sort of that vibe to it. That sort of yeah, it's just, I mean, it's a vibe, right? Like it's a they're man, the color palette's just so cool. But then I mean, this guy's Xylonis flock too, right? Duban is Xylonis flock too. So not all of the figures sort of have that really sort of earth tony aesthetic. Although that's, I mean, he's not far off really. But we'll get there when we get there. Quip has joined us. Yerp, says Quip. Ted says, sorry to hear your AWOCs haven't arrived yet. We just got to restock with weapons packs. Shout out to Hella Dope Toys. I've been chatting with them. Jason keeps telling me the figures are coming, so I keep not ordering from somewhere else. We'll see. I'm happy to wait. I'm genuinely happy to wait. I've got this stuff to unbox. I've got like some GI Joe stuff to unbox. Like I've still got stuff to unbox, so I'm not really in that big of a rush. But man, I'm getting jealous of everybody else having them in hand. Master Versal Toy Hunter says, indeed, the shield looks very nicely sculpted. It absolutely is. It is stunning. Nick says 3D print designers will have a field day with that shield. I hope they do. I need to get that. You know what? That gives me an idea. I need to get in touch with a 3D printer or a 3D sculptor who works with a 3D printer, because I got an idea for what I want somebody to make. Eldor says, indeed, the pop and swap is a fun function of the line. Yeah, it really is. I mean, it really just sort of makes what's already a fantastic figure just that much more enjoyable. Mick, does that visor work the same with Lady Averona and Hadriana? I don't know, but remind me again once I've opened Duban, and I can check that because I have them both pretty close at hand. So Scott says it should, Mick. I'm pretty sure they share the same head. Yes, that was my thinking too. Is that Lady Averona is just a repaint of Hadriana's head, so theoretically it should. So you could have like an evil Hadriana, or a good Lady Averona. Scott Baker, cool. My worry was the female helms might be smaller than the male ones. So are you sorry, Mick, are you asking if this will fit, if this mask will fit on the female ones? Because I think, well, here, I can check that. Because Lady Averona's right here, so I can check that. The head is smaller, so it's like, well, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. You know what? It looks promising. No. Nope. No dice. It just slides right past. It's a little wider, and I think the little pegs on the 1.0 ones are bigger than the pegs on the 2.0 ones. So there's your answer as far as that goes, if that was your question. If your question is, will the Hadriana one swap with the Lady Averona one, I think there's a very good chance that it will. She can hang out too. She'll just hang out right here for now. She's in the same wave. That's fair. Eldor says, in my case, I'll be using the belt and loop for my Hudson tribute to add his sword. Oh, okay. I see. Yes. As far as like, yeah, using these belts and stuff for customizing other figures and stuff. Yeah. They're great for that. Just call me Toast from now on. This is my jam. Mick, not sure if I understood you correctly. I was saying Hadriana and Lady Averona are swappable. Yes, that was what I sort of thought the question was as well. And I still think that those would be swappable. But it definitely sounds like Mick was curious for the 1.0 with the 2.0, and I don't think so. You could well, you know what? Let me check this. I think you could probably go the other way. Like I think this 2.0 one will probably fit on here. It'll just be really weird, and it just like, well, I mean, it's got a bit of a Mad Max thing kind of going on. The Hadriana one, because it's like a full face mask, I don't think it would work because I think it'll just be too tight. But that one works. The color match isn't like, it's not a great color match. That's not my jam. It looks kind of odd, but I don't know, you know, depending on what you're going for, I guess, you know, you could do it. Like I said, they're your toys. Do whatever you want, man. I gotta put her mask on. I can't let her just sit there with the mask. She may need it. She may need it. She's a fantastic figure too. Color palette on her is fantastic. And her eyes, oh, her eyes. You can see the evil. Eldor, but also to create own character and give a story to it, to expand on mythos in your own way, aside from what the Four Horsemen have already laid out for us. Yeah, absolutely, and that's super fun to do. I've because I've got them at hand too. Let me just grab them, and I'm only gonna grab a couple out of the stack that I sort of messed around with last night. So I created sort of a Xylernian Guard Kronos crossover here. So he's going to be sort of one of the elder statesmen in the Xylernian Guard for me. He's going to be, you know, a captain of the guard or a general or something like that. No name, no sort of backstory for that guy just yet. Haven't got around to that. And then I used the spare Santa head on a Kronos. So actually, this is so Kronos and Xylernian Guard more or less gave me these two figures. And I like them. I like these two of the sort of lazy boy customs that I did last night. These are two of my better ones, I think. No, I'm not sure that they're gonna stay like that though, but because I had more thoughts, you know, you throw some parts together, some things work, some things don't. Those were two of the better ones, but I still think there's room for improvement. I had a couple ideas for a couple of the ones that I put together, so as I've done with both my first two customs. Yes, yeah. Mick says that Kronos looks cool. I bought a spare Kronos with the intention of sort of making him more of a soldier and less of a sort of mage type character. And so he's got like the Xylernian Guard arms, and then the Xylernian chest and cloth piece and belt. His original legs, his original pauldrons, original head. So it's almost a 50-50 split. And then effectively, all the parts that were left over went to this guy, and then he just got that. It's the Father Christmas head, but I felt like it was a shame to just have it on Father Christmas because it's a really good looking head. Very distinguished, a very distinguished gentleman in Xylernia. Backstory for this guy, name, I don't know. Maybe that's Father Christmas, 11 months out of the year. Scott Baker says the GOAT, referring presumably to Kronos. Kronos is a great figure, and if you haven't got Kronos yet, do yourself a favor and pick him up because he is, man. Look at how great he looks. Huh? I did him full height too. Like I did him like full, like he's kind of dwarf scale. But I did him in like that scale. So he's shorter, obviously. I did him in that scale, and it looked fantastic. If we get the we got the Xylernian Guard. If we get the Silverhorn Sentry, I fully intend to do a Kronos or a Silverhorn Sentry with a Kronos head. A jolly knight. Indeed, a jolly knight. But I think he's probably going to be like hard as, he's one of those guys who's like super jolly, but when it's time to throw down, he's like the first guy that is in there. Scott Baker says he's definitely underrated, referring to Kronos. And Kronos is, I've got a couple, and I feel like I want more because the parts too are fantastic. Anyway, let's get into Duban. I'll get this guy out of the box, then I'm going to change the camera angle quickly, and away we go. That's Duban in the glare of my ring light. The color is fantastic. In hand is better than any sort of picture that I saw. There is his bio talking about how he is a ranger, a human ranger from the northern reaches. Again, the Alithia card with the call out to all the figures in the wave. The Xylona's flock sigil on the side. Collectors friendly tabs, so you can get these out of the box easily and put them back if you want to. There is a lot in this package. A lot. We get the Ziploc bag with the accessories. These Ziploc bags are fantastic because you can sort your accessories for your figures and then put them right back, you know, in the bag without, you know, having to sort of mess around and sort of try to track them. You put them all in a bin, and then you get a couple figures in the same bin. They get lost, mix and match, and you can't remember which ones are which. Then we get this beautifully sculpted and very, very nicely painted falcon, I presume, that goes on a wrist gauntlet, which is pretty cool. Really, really nice. The same bird sculpt that we got with Valak. It's a different head. Valak came with the hooded falcon. This is an unhooded, unmasked falcon. Very, very nice. Then anytime you get soft goods, they're typically like this. So this is just sort of tucks into the back and taped on. So the card, that's Duban's cape there. Get that out of the package here quickly. I'll take a closer look at the cape in a moment, because it is quite impressive. Erwin Cruz. I don't know. Anybody want to translate that? Is this I have no idea what that says. Is this Erwin Cruz? I don't know what you're saying. Is this? Yeah, I don't know. Master Versal and Scott Baker chatting about the Father Christmas, modifying Father Christmas. Great. He says Harry's hat already April, and I commented to yellow whatever it is that it's a good day, and today don't. Okay, let's just go ahead and put user in timeout. I don't know what that was about. I don't know what. Yeah, I think he's chatting with somebody else. I'm not sure. Second line. Yes, boy. I don't know what that was about. So anyways, Duban in the sort of out of the bubble, so you can see him a little bit better. He comes with a bunch of spare hands, and then a sword in a quiver. We'll get all this out of the package. A bunch of tape on here. It doesn't come off very nicely. I think if they're gonna keep doing this with the tape, I really hope they can sort of upgrade the tape or sort of figure out what's going on with the tape, because as it is now, it leaves a film, sort of leaves a stickiness, and it's gross, and I don't like it. Erwin Cruz, if you want to comment again, I would very much prefer if it were in English so that I could understand it and respond. If you are indeed talking to me, if you're, you know, some sort of bot or something, I'll just block you. But either way. Now, a lot of people just cut these twist ties, but as I said, not me. I prefer to battle with them for far more time than I should. All right, let's get this sword out. Let's get, whoop, there we go. Out is out. I guess it doesn't matter how you do it. Mix that didn't know Duban came with that many hands. Yeah, he does come with a bunch of hands, which, like, honestly, okay, let's look at the accessories and then we'll look at the figure. As I said, I'm gonna tighten this up a little bit, or at least try. Oh, geez, that noise drives me crazy. Okay, so that's a better angle. That's so you can kind of see everything. Okay, so Duban's accessories. Starting off, we get the bird, and there's a lot, so I'm gonna go through this stuff fast. We get the cape. The cape is, of course, very, very nice. It's sort of heavier than I expected it to be. It's wired. You know, the whole edge of the cape, all the way around, all the way up the front, all the way up the back, is wired. So it poses up really, really nicely. I'll put it on him in a second, sort of show you what I mean. We get these pauldrons in what is, you know, it's sort of it's a steel blue, blue gray, you know, whatever kind of color you want to call it. It looks beautiful. It is a really, really nice color. There's been some debate as to sort of whether the color was appropriately represented in Trevor's pictures. I think it looks fantastic, and I'm not complaining. We get a crossbow. I'm not a huge fan of the crossbow accessory, but I don't dislike it. It's fine. It works. I would have liked to have gotten an arrow with a crossbow. We get an arrow with the bows all the time. The crossbows, for whatever reason, don't come with an arrow. I would like them to. That's a bit of a nitpick, but it is what it is. I can complain if I want. These are my toys. You're... Then we get this little dwarven dagger. It has a really nice green color. It's a slightly different shade of green than I think I've seen on anything else before. But it's really, really nice. The sword and the sword sheath have that same green on them. This is sort of the smaller. This is just about the sort of skinniest, narrowest sword that we have for Mythic Legions, but it's still sculpted really, really well, and it's really, really nice. I like this one. I like this one as a sword that can kind of go on a belt and not be too sort of overwhelming. I love the big, wide, broad, sort of heavy swords too, but this one's great when you're sort of loading out a character. The brown's really nice as well. So that's that. Then on to the hands, and as I said, there's a whole bunch of them, and as Mick said, there's a whole bunch of them. The truth is, there's a whole bunch of them. Mick, you know, you get the hands that are on Duban are like the standard gripping hands with a horizontal hinge. We get standard gripping hands. I'll go through each set so we get standard gripping hands, but with the vertical. So standard gripping hand, vertical grip. Then we get the fisting hands or fists. Those have a horizontal hinge. And then again, with a horizontal hinge, although it's kind of a vertical hinge, if you turn the hand the other way, it's sort of these emotive, hands that sort of display a little bit more emotions. There's certain items that you can grip a little bit better with these than you can with those sort of C grip hands as well. I think this is the first figure that at least I can think of that came with this many hands. There's been figures that have come with like one set of hands, spare set of hands. But to the best of my knowledge, that many hands in sort of a standard figure release, I think that's the first. Most of the time, you got to buy like a hand pack to get all that stuff. Yeah, thinking we could go in on some wire cutters. I have wire cutters. I have a garage full of tools. And then beyond that, for sort of hobby purposes, I have plenty of nippers for Gundam model kits. It's not that I can't cut the twist ties. It's that I don't want to cut the twist ties. You guys aren't listening to me. I like the process of unpacking the figure. I like, the twist tie is part of the experience. Maybe I'm crazy. Is that weird? I can't be the only person that does that. I can't be the only person that actually takes the time to undo the twist ties before I pop those figures out. Maybe my man Eldor, I never cut the ties. Good man, Eldor. You're my kind of people. That's probably why you're here. Radical Toys is here. What is going on, my friend? All right, so that's the two of them out of the packaging. Let's get these guys accessorized a little bit. What I learned about wire capes is that I have no idea how to post them. But I will I'll get it on the figure to sort of show you what it looks like. What I found was the sort of neck piece comes off with this figure because it's kind of awkward to get this neck piece out, if I'm being perfectly honest. But the cape looks way better if you have the neck piece on. And I've also found that there's kind of an orientation to these neck pieces. It affects the sort of what your figure looks like. But anyway, if you have that on, and let's see if these pauldrons are going. The last ones didn't. I had to heat it up. And these ones aren't going to, so I'm not going to put them on. But anyway, imagine, if you will, these pauldrons. They look really nice. You wouldn't see them anyway once I do what I'm going to do now, which is put the cape on. If you leave the neck sort of ball joint on, the cape sits better. The cape fits better and sort of interfaces better with the head. I put it on the other way, and it felt like it was lower on his neck. Well, I'll show you what I mean. Because why not? That's what you guys are here for, right? Well, to watch me experiment with this stuff. So the first time I did it this way. The neck peg came off, and I was like, that's fine, whatever, I'll do it that way. It's way harder to put it on this way, actually. And the neck peg doesn't sit properly, but sort of see how there's sort of a gap there. There's it feels like there's a bit of a disconnect at the chin as well. It doesn't look as good. Now, alternatively, now I got to do this again. Of course I got to do this again. Come on now. Come on now. Probably should have heated it up. I see you there, Brick. I see you there. Probably should have given it a hot bath first. All right. Then alternatively, when we do it this way, see how it's like it feels more connected. So take the neck peg off, put the cape on, put the neck peg on the body, put the cape on, put the head on, in that order. And it looks spectacular. You got the you get sort of the unbreakable vibe if you sort of don't pose it out at all. You know, you get that sort of Batman just hanging out over the city type vibe. I found that I like the sort of over the shoulder pose on one side and then sort of a windswept. As I said, I can't pose this thing to save my life. So I got to sort of make the most of it. But my cape posing skills really impressed my 7-year-old. So I will say that. But then we had, like I said, you know, this belt with the 2 loops. So you can get the dagger and the sword in there. In sort of whatever configuration you want. I'm just throwing these in here. You could do it a lot better if you sort of take the time to sort of pose it and present it in a way that looks way nicer than this. I think I like the sword better if the actual whole dang thing goes through the loop. Takes longer, but whatever. It's Wednesday night. Who's got something better to do? Not me. I don't love that. I did it wrong. But anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea. You very quickly realize that I cannot get that cape to do anything other than look frumpy. I'll work on it. That's something I got to work on. The hands are fun because you can get the sword sort of in a stabby kind of position. The Xylernian guard, I really hope these pauldrons go on because he looks phenomenal once he's all geared up and posed up. Oh, and they did. And they did on my first one as well. So it's weird. Certain torsos, certain pauldrons seem to work really easily, seem to go on easily. Others, much less so. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm just going to get the sword in one hand and the shield in another, and we'll go from there. I learned recently that villains have swords in their right hands, left hands. So I learned it might be a little bit strong. I heard, and now I can't remember which is which. But anyway, I'm just going to get them in a very, very vanilla pose, and then we'll just sort of chat about these figures and others for a few minutes because we're right at the hour, and I like to shoot for an hour with the unboxing videos. Unbox, unbox. Right? Is that the song? Is that how it goes? No, he's got a vertical hinge. Of course, he's got a vertical hinge, so I can't do the horizontal hinge so the sword kind of sits the way that I want it to. But anyway, you get the idea. You get the general idea of very, very vanilla posed, non-setup figures. There, not bad. Now, let me see if I can get these accessories to look cool. I'll start with the hands. Always be knolling. If you know what I'm saying, again, you're my kind of people. And if you don't, as I shared with Brick earlier, watch the Tom Sachs 10 Bullets video. It's on YouTube. YouTube's free. This is a very bad job knolling, but it won't trigger me. So as long as I'm not triggered, we'll be fine. The severed head is a weird, when you sort of pose them like this, the severed head is going to be a little bit weird. Anyway, there he is. There they are. I'll be honest, the Whisperling, not my thing. I am what you call a mythos racist. It's a real thing. It's documented. My headcanon does not acknowledge certain races within mythos for budgetary reasons, primarily. For personal budgetary reasons. That's not that much better. It still looks kind of trash, but anyway. Wait, maybe I can. I always think I can improve the shot, and I never can. Anyway, let's jump back into the comments, see what's going on. What did I miss in the last couple minutes? Erwin Cruz didn't come back. Did Erwin Cruz come back and I missed his comments? Master Versal said, I never cut the ties myself. Radical Toy says, I do the ties, but because I never have scissors. Ted says, the frustration is part of the experience. For me, it's not frustration. It's like, it's the process. It's like this. I was saying earlier on Brick's video, like with Lego builds, organizing the bricks for me is like part of the build. It's part of the process. It turns out that makes things take way longer, to the point where when I tried to do an unboxing and build video of Lego, I was bored before I was done, because I didn't realize how long it takes. It's so time consuming. Don't watch that video. It's a waste of your time. Anyway, anyway. Okay, I won't touch them again. I'll just leave them as it. Eldor says, I find the ties come in handy for other things, so indeed I save those. Yeah, you could definitely, just like the reusable bags, right? You can use those twist ties. A Brick, don't worry. When we sort of right off the jump, I called him Duban. And then I switched to Duban. I think Duban is a more distinguished name, so I'm going to go with that going forward. Scott says, I only typically cut the troll ties, which are the troll ties, admittedly, hurt my fingers to unwind. They're so thick. They're such a heavy gauge of wire that I almost wish I'd cut those ones. Elder says, I know of people using those ties to keep the wings positioned out wide on the Varg as the wings droop under their own weight. That's a good shout. That's a good call. I'm gonna have to try that. When I was doing my kit bashing yesterday, my Lazy Boy customs, I did a demon and I did the vampire from the head packs. And I wasn't 100% satisfied with them. And what I realized was I have wings that match those figures. So I'm going to put those on, and I might try that trick. Jeremy says, you have girlish hands. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that compliment. The Batman of Mythos. Kind of. He has that vibe, and I'm not gonna lie, until I sort of got him in hand and had that cape on him, I did kind of miss the blue and gray aspect of it. With the hood and the cape and cowl type of thing. There's definitely a Batman vibe there, and they definitely in the bio kind of I'm going to reach out to somebody, because that's it wasn't until I had him in hand that I kind of thought about that. And you saying that confirms it. And now I'm gonna reach out and I'm gonna see if there was some Batman influence in terms of the bio, in terms of the design, because it's got like the blue and gray, like the Nightfall suit, or like, you know, Batman 66 kind of vibe to it. So we'll see. Cuban looks pretty badass with that cloak all closed up, like he's concealing something deadly and about to spring. Yeah, I mean, it's the cape. Like I said, I need a lot of practice with posing it, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to a lot of the soft goods that are coming up in some of the lines, some of the waves. As we sort of discussed on Sunday on my show, Brick, you know, the soft goods coming up in Cosmic Legions. I'm debating whether any Cosmic Legions figures just to get the soft goods. Ted says, this is why I watch Mythic Legions unboxing. Sometimes I open these things and I'm lost. Good stuff here. Hey, I'll be honest. I'm still lost. I have the luxury with these that I opened both of them before, and I've had time to kind of mess around with them. Otherwise, I probably would have done it wrong too. Scott says, you seem quite capable. I'll see myself out. No, I can appreciate that. Bring on the dad jokes. That's right up my alley. Radical Toy says, I like watching Mythic Legions, helps me learn about them. They're a ton of fun. Radical Toys, I know that you watch Ostradamus Toys, forgive me, Brick, forgive me, Oz. Mythic Legions 101, is that what you guys are calling it? I watched them too. Great shows for sort of, you know, an introduction to Mythic Legions. The beauty of Mythic Legions is you can take, you know, you can take bits and pieces. The lore is there, but it's pretty amorphous still. You know, there's a lot of gaps that you can fill in still. Personally, I have sort of a headcanon where, you know, I think there's like 10 factions in Mythos, and for me there's like 4, because it makes it easier as far as buying patterns. I don't have to have, you know, a whole faction. Father Christmas is a figure, obscure figure, but Father Christmas is in Xylona's flock. For me, he just lives in the north, so that's why he's all, you know, dressed in warm clothes. Makes sense, right? Ted, is the Doctor Doom vibe intentional, or is that just the colors? I mostly collect the Motu homage figures, so I'm a bit out of the loop on standard Mythic Legions. This figure, the Xylernian Guard, is 100% sort of in or on brand for Xylona's flock as far as the color palette goes. Let me grab. Well, no, I mean, you could check out sourcehorseman.com and look it up. But green, brass, gold are sort of the prevailing colors. You know, orange. So we get sort of orange with the sort of tan leather bits. As Scott Baker said, there's sort of an autumnal vibe. There's an autumnal temperature, I guess. If I don't know. Brick, what's the design language for that sort of color palette? It's a warm, natural color palette for Xylona's flock, because they're elves and woodland creatures and stuff like that. So I think it's, you know, I don't think that the Doctor Doom vibe is there intentionally. I think it's just a byproduct of that color palette. But if you swapped out, you know, like if you swap those pauldrons out for something that didn't have the bronze and the gold and a couple of the other things, which you could easily do. There's, you know, you could buy just about any other night. So Owain is a good example. You could probably still grab in a few places. You could do a Doctor Doom. Like I said, you're like 90% of the way there with that guy. You could take that cape and get some green fabric and some very, very basic sewing skills, and you could very, very quickly and easily have Doctor Doom. Radical Toys, strange question, but how does the plastic feel on these Mythic Legions? Is it comparable to McFarlane toys or something else? That is not a strange question. It's a very good question, which I will not be very good at answering because I don't have any McFarlane figures. So I can't speak directly to that. What do they feel like? Comparably wise, I can't think of anything that they really compare to. The only McFarlane thing that I do have is the Avatar Banshees, and I guess it's in a way they're kind of similar. Like it's not a really rigid plastic. There's a sort of a softness to it, but there's a denseness to it as well. They in hand they feel they feel really good. They feel really solid. They feel really strong. They feel really durable. It doesn't feel like a NECA plastic. It doesn't really feel like a Super 7 plastic. I don't know. Super 7 might be the closest thing that I can think of. In some cases, but not in all cases. So it's not a great example either. They're beautifully made figures. Like I would say, as far as the quality of the figures, as far as the plastic and sort of how they feel in hand, they're second to none. Absolutely second to none. Radical Toys, I forgive me, I don't know. I don't think you have any yet. I would strongly recommend you get one. Just to get one in hand. Message me after. I'll help you. I'll help work something out. We should get one to you to have in hand for sure. But in hand, like I said, they don't feel like anything else. It's somebody. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody in the chat that has McFarlane figures that could probably answer that, specifically. Jeremy, these are the worst Lord of the Ring figures I've ever seen. Yeah, pretty much. Brick something coming in heavy. Human racism is deeply intertwined with economic concerns as well. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yes, racism and economics have a lot to do with each other. But we'll leave that to some of the more scholarly YouTube channels, for now at least. Monsters from Beyond, which is a name that I don't recognize. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Says, oddly, I only collect the non-human Legion stuff. That's not odd. First comment that I've seen from you, I don't know if you've tuned in before, but if you haven't, I will share this little nugget with you. The creatures are my favorite. The Fuzzmonk, Thistlethorn is my absolute favorite figure in the line. Faunus, the Jaguelians, the Orcs, the Goblins. I'm looking at my collection. Centaurs, like Bryophytus, I absolutely love. Which is a figure that like a lot of people are just don't care for, because he's flocked, or I don't know why they don't like that figure, but that was one of the Kronos again. The critters and the creatures are sort of what drew me in, and then the quality of the figures is what sort of pushed me to buy more. Sam says Mythic Legions figures are very cool, but I collect so many things I don't know where I would put them. Absolutely a fair statement. You certainly can't disagree. There's lots of lines that I would love to have that for space or financial reasons I just can't be getting it to. Eldor says, I do that as well, so I can see all my bricks and something, but indeed I organize my Legos there before I build. Yeah. It says, wait, organizing Lego pieces takes longer? Is this why my daughter keeps beating me on builds? Probably. Kids don't, my kid, yeah, she just dumps it all out and just digs. Drives me crazy. Radical Toys, I reuse the twist ties for Spider-Man's webbing. Marvel Legends. Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, man, I must be really behind in the comments. Okay, let's see. I'm going to skip a bunch. Sorry, Brooke. Brooke says Legions class. So there, check out Ostradamus Toys for that. Radical Toy says Oz and Brick has good stuff for covering these figures. Brick is my go-to for info on these. Helps when I cover the toy news. Brick is your go-to? Man. You're probably getting about half the news and half the information. Master Versal says sort of a hard rubber feel. Yeah, it is. Like it feels Radical Toys. It feels like a hockey puck. There you go. Dense, durable, heavier than it should, but still kind of feels rubbery. Radical Toys is Canadian. He'll know what I'm talking about. Brick, you probably won't. Radical Toys. Yeah, I was curious if the plastic felt more stiff or softer. It feels softer. It feels softer. And Master Versal says sort of a soft vinyl. Yeah, almost. Almost. And then, I'm caught up. I'm caught up on the comments. Okay. Brick says 100%. Plenty of more robust Mythic Legions channels than mine. Dork Lair. Dork Lair is a great channel. Yeah. The Legions Lounge, Legions Lair. Well, the Legions Lairs just on the Cabal. Legions Lounge, Dork Lair are both on YouTube. Those are great go-to resources. Mythic Conversations, Jeremy Gerard's channel. Mythic Customs. Yeah, sorry, his channel I think is called Mythic Customs. His videos are called Mythic Conversations. Brick says, I've held a puck. Sure you have. Radical Toys, nice. Yeah, hockey puck. Now I get it. Exactly. Yeah, you get it. I'm shocked that I hadn't sort of thought of that before, but now that I've thought of it, now it's like a perfect analogy. Like that's now I can say that to every Canadian person that asked me that question. Eldor, I incorporated Mythics due to its fantasy genre and ties to Motu through the Four Horsemen. I do my best. I do my best to decipher. I know that sometimes, when you're typing, you get the autocorrect or you miss a letter or you miss like a little word here or there. So I get it. Anyways, hour and 20 minutes, 2 figures done and dusted. These are absolutely stunning figures. I genuinely, like I said, these aren't the first that I've opened these figures, but it's still so much joy opening them. They're so fun. They're just such great figures. If you're thinking about grabbing a Mythic Legions figure, do it. They are phenomenal. Well, I should say, full disclosure, full disclaimer, be prepared to buy more if you buy one, because it's a pretty hard line to grab one and not immediately fall in love with these figures. So you've been warned. They're absolutely fantastic. As I said, second to none. But Brick, I did read the other part. Although I didn't read any of it in a Filipino accent. That's a slippery slope doing accents. Eldor says, I got the Moss Man tribute in my pile of loot still, so I'll have to have him shipped out soon. The Moss Man tribute is Bryophytus, and Bryophytus is fantastic. He's an absolutely... The flocking on that figure is unique. I've never seen flocking like that. He's not furry. He's kind of like rubberized too. It's really unique. It has a really cool hand feel. I think you're going to love it, Eldor. I absolutely love it. I've actually got 2 of them. I'm tempted to get that flocked Moss Man if I can find it, the Motu Origins one. Just to compare it. I probably won't, and I probably shouldn't. Scott Baker says, I'm just gonna get the Motu tributes. Yeah, that happens, right? People say that all the time. Or they're, oh, I'll just buy the Headless Horseman. I'll just get the Figura Obscura. No big deal. I won't need any more. You get them in hand, and then you're like, well, maybe I'll get a knight. Maybe I'll get a skeleton. Maybe I'll get an orc. Maybe I'll get all of the elves. Maybe I need a moose. It's a deep, dark rabbit hole. That's all I'll say. And there's no coming out of it. Eldor says, agreed. He looks interesting. He looks fantastic. It's a great figure. They're all great figures. And the beauty of the line is there's a lot of different factions, a lot of different races. You know, there's elves, orcs, humans, skeletons, demons, fuzz monks, goat-headed, whatever Kronos is, dwarves, horses, jaguelians, goblins. I mean, there's everything, right? You know, and I think there's probably more to come. Brick says, sorry, I missed it. Did you not finish opening these over the weekend, or did these come separately? I got a 3rd box in, and it was an extra Okietos and Xenathon. Same situation? No. I just bought multiples, and I did sort of a separate unboxing outside of the kind of parameters of open late, but I thought I would do but that was specifically for like a Mythic Legions crowd, and then this one I wanted to do like an open late where it was more of like a general audience, if that makes sense. As if there's that many people that watch my videos that I have two viewing audiences. Who am I kidding? You guys were, I think, pretty much all year on Saturday. Radical Toys says, I like your backdrop. Is it cardboard? It is. It's 100% cardboard. It is. I will grab a piece that's not on camera so that I can show you. This is the Extreme Sets. I think this is called the Castle. It is all cardboard. It is pre-cut, kind of notched cardboard. I'll just show you what I mean by that by pulling off this step. So it comes like that with sort of pre-cut notches for where you need to sort of notch it in, and then even like where it gets folded, it's like it's not pre-folded, but they sort of put a seam, they put sort of an indentation so that when you fold it, it's the work's already done, and then you basically just put everything together, and they do it in such a way that everything kind of locks in. You can see that this step kind of loops around and then locks into the back so it stays down, and then they're just all sort of friction fit, and they look, well, I mean, look at it. It looks fantastic. It's got a bit of a 3D element going on. This door works. Or it should. I don't want to push on it because there's nothing sort of keeping it. There's nothing keeping it there. The whole this would all collapse. I made this joke, I think on Saturday night, that like if this sort of bit on the back fell down, you just see like the wall of my office. Like it's, you know, that would be like one of those movie sets where like it all just sort of falls apart. So extreme sets, they're fantastic. They're not cheap, but they're huge. They're really big. Like this is so this piece that's back here, there's 4 pieces of this in the set. This piece here is part of a staircase. Yeah, it's big. It's bigger than I could it's bigger than I could use in like one shot. But you get cool stuff like this pillar. This has different you know, different stuff going on the side. It's got sort of some stuff going on either end. And just adds, you know, add some depth, add some dimension to otherwise a very boring desk. So yeah, they're cool. They're fun. I've got this one and kind of a sci-fi one, and I would love to have more, but they're big, so I can't leave them set up. Very cool dial. Reminds me of the Sears exclusive cardboard Cobra base from back in the day. It does have that vibe for sure, but it works. So it's Scott Baker says, I have one of their sewer sets for my turtle shelf. Yeah, they have a few different turtle ones. So they have like a sort of a cartoony one, a more accurate one. And they're constantly coming out with more, but extreme sets. You can check out their website. They're sort of revealing a new wave sort of right now, I think. But anyway, I got this one from eCollectibles.ca, which is where I get all my Mythic Legions figures as well. So shout out to Mike at eCollectibles for just being a great dude, great customer service, great products. I basically, if he can't get it for me, I probably don't need it. That's kind of my rule. I get just about everything from eCollectibles. Brick said, I love the sci-fi door one you used to. Yeah. That one's called like Sector 7 or something like that. There's a new one that I want to get because I think it fits AWOC. But I don't know if I need it. Like I said, I don't know if I need another one. They're awesome, but how many dios does a person need? Maybe 3. I've already got 2. Maybe 3 is the answer. Maybe? I don't know. Anyways, that's Radical Toy says, I bought from eCollectibles before. Great dude. As I said, great customer service. We became friends, and sort of as a result of that, I started buying stuff from him, and I you know, I haven't looked back. Like I said, best customer service of any online retailer that I've really dealt with, and the fact that he's, you know, Canadian, and a fellow collector of Mythic Legions just makes it that much easier. So yeah, strongly recommend eCollectibles.ca. That's all I've got tonight, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. As I always say, it's way more fun to open friends with your toys. So thank you for joining me both in the chat live, and if anybody is tuning into the replay, thanks for coming out. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the notifications so that when I do a video like this and sort of randomly decide that I'm going to do it an hour or so before I do it, you will get that notification pop up. Otherwise, you'll have to watch it in the replay, and it's you know, the replay is cool, but it's not the same. It's not the same as live, right? Or at least I don't think so. Anyway, until next time, thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.